Hi and welcome. This is Blender for Absolute Beginners Part 2. In this part we will go through the object mode and edit mode and how to quickly access those two modes. We will go over a few shortcuts that will make life easier when using Blender. In edit mode we will go through scale, extrude, inset and rotate. And with those skills learned, we will later on do a simple modeling with some exercises. So let's start by open Blender and begin. Last time we talked about and learned how to navigate in the viewport by using the visual tools that is available. For example, if I press and hold left click and drag around the mouse, I can move around in the viewport. And the same thing for the hand with panning around and zoom with the magnifying glass. There is a simple way also that if you have a mouse you can hold down the middle scroll wheel, and by that at the same time you can pan around in the viewport, look around. There is also a few shortcuts that one can learn, that is for example to moving objects by using this move tool and click and press on the arrows to move around this cube in the viewport. You can also simply press G on the keyboard, G, and then I will move around my mouse, and when I find the location that I want my cube I can just left click and it will be there. If I would like to move the cube in the exact Z location here, or Z axis, I just press G on the keyboard and then Z. And now it's moving in the Z axis, up and down. For example, if I'm here or up here and I want to undo this, I want to stop with the grab, I just simply right click on my mouse. I right click and it goes back to where it was in the beginning when I started the move command. The same thing goes for rotate. So with R on the keyboard, R, and now I move my mouse or my trackpad, I can rotate it. Now I will right click to undo. So if I would like to rotate this in the Z axis, I simply press R on the keyboard and then Z. Now I can rotate it exactly in the Z axis. That is very helpful shortcuts to use in both the object mode viewport and later on when we will look in the edit mode. Let's jump into edit mode. So we select our cube, and there are two ways that we can do this. We can go up here to, as we can see, we are in the layout, and we go to object mode here, press and then enter edit mode. Now we're in edit mode and the viewport had changed a bit. We have a new tools here on the left. The other way to do this is we go back to edit mode, back to object mode. On the keyboard you simply press by first select your object that you want to enter into edit mode and then press tab on the keyboard. Tab and I'm in edit mode. Tab again and I'm out of edit mode. So what can you do in edit mode? In object mode we can simply just move around this cube. We can scale it if we want to. But nothing more than this. In edit mode we can actually change the geometry of the cube. So I jump into edit mode, and if we look up here you can see that the select mode is set to vertex or vertices. There is also edge select mode where we can select the edges and then the faces. So let's start by have this vertex selected. On the cube you can see that there are a few points here. This is one vertex and this is one vertex. So by doing this I can, for example, I can move this vertex. And we have a few tools here, visual tools on the left side. We have, as we have in object mode, move tool, rotate, scale, and transform, a combination of the above, and a few more options down here when we go into modeling. So if I select the Move tool, I can move this vertex. The other way of moving this vertex, as I've showed, is by pressing G on the keyboard and then move my mouse, and I can move this vertex. Or G and then X, I can move it on the X-axis. I can select several vertices at once. I will have my select box selected like that. I can press this vertex, then I will hold down Shift on my keyboard and select another one. I will press G on my keyboard and Z. I will move these two up like that. The other option up here is the edges. So each of these lines is an edge that I can manipulate and relocate if I want to. So for example, I can press this one. I press G on my keyboard and then X as in the X-axis, and I can move that. Or by simply pressing G, move it around freely. Now we have the faces. So each one of these sides is a face, and I can manipulate and change them and move them around just like the other one, vertex and edges. So G and Y, or freely by just simply pressing G. And here comes another little shortcut. We can rotate this face. I will press the rotate tool, and just like in object mode, I can rotate in different axes. Undo that, and let's do it by shortcut by simply pressing R on the keyboard, and I can rotate it. In a specific axle, I can press R and then Y and rotate it in the Y axis. So let's go over a few things here in edit mode that you can model and change the geometry and add geometry to this cube in edit mode. We can start by select this tool that is called Extrude region. I am in my face mode select mode, and I have select one of these faces. I click on the Extrude tool, and I will click and hold on the plus and drag it, and we have extruded that face. I will select another face and press, hold and drag and release. That's extrude. You can also do this by shortcuts. It's a bit easier, and your workflow will be much faster. So you simply press E to extrude. I press E on my keyboard. I will drag the mouse and I will click when I'm happy with the location. I select the top face and I will press E on the keyboard as for extrude, and voila. Another tool is the Inset tool, Inset face. I will press that. I will grab hold of the circle and we will inset this face. Let's combine Inset and then Extrude. So now I will press E on the keyboard for Extrude, and I've extruded that face. A shortcut for the Inset tool is by simply pressing I on the keyboard, I, and I will drag my mouse inwards. I will left click. Now I can press E on the keyboard, and it's done. So with those skills learned, you can start modeling. I challenge you to model anything. Just having fun, and if you're lost, just restart Blender and try again. I will go to have my select box selected, and I will stay in the face select mode, and I will use my shortcuts to just do something. So E to extrude, and perhaps I to inset, E to extrude. Here's another one, S to scale, S, E to extrude, S to scale. I don't know what this is, but that's what's fun with a creative tool like Blender. I will press G on my keyboard, G, and I will move it in the x-axis, X. It's starting to look a little bit like a spaceship right now. E to extrude, S to scale. I will look in the y-axis. I will press G for grab and Z. I will press R on the keyboard to rotate it. And I've made something. I don't know what it is. Perhaps a spaceship. Let's show what you can do by combining these ones with rotate. So I will go to look from the side by pressing Y, E, G for grab, R to rotate, S to scale. I will press E again for extrude, G to grab, R to rotate, S scale. Let's do one more. E to extrude, G to grab, R rotate, S scale. I will look from this side now, and I will press I for inset on the keyboard, and then last one, E extrude. A very cool, high resolution, high density spaceship. So that's it. Have fun and try out and practice in edit mode, and I hope to see you in the last one. In the next one. Thank you for watching.